Talk about the lyrics. So who is Sally? Like what tell me about the story, the lore behind Sally.
For some reason, there was like I think it was a joke, but it was like a rumor that was being spread, or Sally was written about Jake Shane.
So for fans who might still be discovering you, why did you pick the moniker Role Model?
I wish I'd maybe thought about it more.
I saw that you pulled out Renee Rapp as your Sally on stage for a night. How did you and Renee link up?
She's inviting me to her, what she calls her lesbian parties.
It feels like a pretty exclusive invite.
It seems very exclusive. It almost seems culty, and I'm very honored and scared too.
Sally, that feeling's coming around. Please don't go falling in love.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spout podcast. I am your host, Tamara Dia, and today I am joined by Tucker Pillsbury, aka Role Model.
Yes.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm good. You just mentioned that you're officially done with your headlining tour.
I am. Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels good. I do miss it already, honestly. But it feels good to get a little bit of a break, and then we start back up with festivals. But we ended it in Boston, which felt like a perfect ending because I call it my hometown show because I have not played in Maine, and it's close enough, and so it was cool, like this whole theme of like no place like home, and we ended the tour in home, and it was perfect.
Were there any surprise moments while you were on tour?
Well, for that last show, my mom we brought her up to be Sally at the end of the show, and then she didn't want me to spoil the surprise and tell the rest of my family that was at the show, and so she kept it a secret from them, and they went crazy the second they saw her on stage. I think she told them she had to go to the bathroom, and then next thing they know, she's like on stage, and they loved it. So
that's fine. Did she come alive on stage? I feel like my mom would be shy.
No, my mom is like the most shy person, quiet, and then for some reason something took over her body, and she became a whole different person on that stage. It was amazing.
She's like, let me on the remix.
Oh yeah, the people loved it. She was amazing.
So for fans who might still be discovering you, why did you pick the moniker Role Model?
I don't know. I chose that name at a young age, and I did it because I thought it was funny and ironic, and now I am stuck with it. So I wish I'd maybe thought about it more, because it's like one of those names where like the more you say it, the weirder it sounds. But I don't know. It is what it is, but it's cool, I guess.
What's the lore behind Role Model versus Saint Laurent Cowboy?
That is a person that is impersonating me on the internet, and then I am the real deal. Uh-huh. And I guess the difference is I'm a good person, and I would never do that to someone, but he would. So, what up, host? I know you miss me. First things first. If you see a guy wearing a wool sweater on this app singing Gracie Abrams, just know he's manipulating you, and he'll probably give you some sort of a UTI. On that note, Role Model is at the bottom of some river in Norway right now, and so I'll be taking over the tour.
I wasn't sure because I was looking in the comments and I was very confused.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for clarifying that.
The whole thing is confusing.
Okay. Well, your latest single, Sally, When the Wine...
It's hard, I know.
Your latest single, Sally, When the Wine Runs Out.
Yes.
It's a breakthrough hit for you. I mean, you're already on the Billboard charts. This is such a huge track. Can you talk to me about what this track means and when you were writing it?
It's funny. I feel like just looking back on like a lot of artist interviews where like maybe something like this happens to them, it seems like it's always the song that you put the least amount of thought into. Mm-hmm. And it was like a song that we just had 3 extra hours left in the studio, and we're just like, let's mess around and like jam and make something. And that is what it came from. And it's just funny. I had no expectations because it was just, like I said, it was a jam, and it seems to be a thing where it's like the song you just like throw together and don't think too much about ends up being something that people gravitate towards. So it's cool. It's very surprising, but I'm here for it.
Oh shit, here we go again. I'm falling head first. Ankles hit the 2-step. Sally makes my head hurt. Heard through the grapevine.
talk about the lyrics. So who is Sally? Like what tell me about the story, the lore behind Sally.
It was just a song. This was like, I don't know. I can't remember the timeline. It was months after the original album had come out. And I had just kind of wanted to push myself back into like the social and romantic side of like dating and like trying to put myself back out there. And the song was like very much about, I guess, a specific experience that I had. I would never. Sally is not a person's name that I know of, but it sang well. But it was like very much a real experience that I had, and probably like a combination of some of the experiences I had. But I guess it was just being hesitant and like being just questioning people's like motives or like their honesty, and just like trying to put myself back out there, but still having that like doubt, I guess, and self-doubt.
I think we all have that.
Oh, sure.
Unfortunately, if you find a way to like get around that, let me know.
Yeah, I know.
One of the fan favorite moments you just mentioned is you bring a Sally on stage. You just talked about how your mom was at the last show, which is so awesome. Is it true that whole bit started because of Jake Shane?
Yeah. When we started the North American tour, Sally had like kind of just come out. The Deluxe had just come out. And for some reason, there was like I think it was a joke, but it was like a rumor that was being spread, or a narrative that Sally was written about Jake Shane. And
did he start that rumor?
Probably. I think he leaned into it for sure. And then he happened to be, it was like our second or third show into tour. He happened to be in Dallas at the same time doing a show. And I was like, let's lean into this more and just like come on stage for Sally and dance around. And he did, and people loved it. And I was like, why don't we just do this every night and do like the Justin Bieber One Less Lonely Girl moment, and like just bring a fan out or whoever and just have like a fun thing. And it makes the show feel less repetitive for me. Like it's like a new thing every night to look forward to for me. And like you never know what that person's going to do or how they're going to perform. And so it's like a fun, selfishly, it's also just like a fun thing for me to like switch up the set every night.
Yeah. It's fun for your audience as well.
Them too. Yes.
I saw that you pulled out Renee Rapp as your Sally on stage for a night, and you guys made a TikTok and you were dancing to it. And one of the comments, by the way, that TikTok has almost 1 million likes. One of the commenters wrote, "That's not Sally, that's mommy."
That's true. I agree with that.
How did you and Renee link up?
That is mommy. How did we link up? I don't know. We've just like, well, I guess we share some of the same people on our teams. We are on the same label, and we share some people, and like, I would always tell them like how much I appreciate her and love her, and like especially her internet presence. Like I just love her as a person, and stage presence, everything. And then like heard that she was also like saying nice things about me, and so like I reached out over DM, and there was like a conversation, and now she's inviting me to her, what she calls her lesbian parties.
Sweet.
And I've been accepted into those. I have not experienced it yet, but she has officially invited me to her lesbian parties, so I'm excited about that.
That feels like a pretty exclusive invite.
It seems very exclusive. It almost seems culty, and I'm very honored and scared too. But
I feel like, I mean, I'm not a musician, but if I had friends that were musical, I would always be like, let's collab on something. Do you talk to Renee about that?
Have we talked about that? No. My thing is like, I don't ever want someone to think I am like, I don't ever want to like ruin friendships.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as you start talking about work, I'm just like, it's happened to me when someone has like started talking to me, and then immediately it's about work, and I'm like, oh, this isn't friendship. So I don't ever want to do that to anyone else. Would I work with Renee? For sure. But like, I also value, our our friendship. So I don't know, I'd like to keep those things separate sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You did a great cover of Taylor Swift and Phoebe Bridgers' Nothing New.
Thank you.
A very impressive cover. Why did you pick that song?
I love that song. I had, when I was like in the very early stages of making the album, that song I put on my like playlist for like album inspo playlist. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, that like, one, I'm a massive fan of both of them. And two, it was like something, it's funny because when I put it out, people were like, why is a man singing about a woman's experience? But I wish people would like listen to some of my interviews because I've talked about it. Like, I think I talk a lot about like, I don't ever want to bathe in like a moment or like take in all of this, I guess, like success of Sally or like the touring and like soaking that in and being like, whatever, gassing myself up about it because I think moments are fleeting and I think things are going well right now, but you never know where it's going to go. And there's going to be like a shiny new thing that comes along and people might forget you. And so that is very much to me what that song is about. And I related to it heavily and also just like had a vision for how I wanted to perform it with the band and make it just 25% more dancey, I guess. Yeah.
How can a person know everything at 18 but nothing at 22? We still want me when I'm nothing new.
When you were doing that song, was there ever a fear like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cover a Taylor Swift song? Like, was there any feeling of like, oh, how are people going to receive this?
It's a risky, that is a risky move, but I genuinely love the song. I wasn't, it didn't come from a place of like, oh, I'm going to do this because it's clickbaity, and whatever, it's going to cause some sort of discussion online. It was like, I love the song. And yeah, that was it.
Well, someone else who loved the song was Ed Sheeran. He hopped into the comment section and he wrote, quote, love this guy.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he definitely did. I was like, oh, snap, Ed Sheeran's in these comments?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that feel to kind of feel like you got a co-sign from Ed Sheeran?
It feels great. And then he went, I do remember this, because then he went on live and like did like an album review with my vinyl.
It's awesome. It's really, really good. I love him as an artist. I love him as a songwriter. And yeah, I know he's starting to sort of catch a bit of steam, but if you haven't heard of him, check out Role Model. It's one of my favorite records this year.
So I had like DM'd him and just been like, hey, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is super nice. And then he said some nice things and was like, I don't know if you've heard, but I don't have a cell phone. So here's my email if you ever want to talk. And gave me his email.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet, but I am very thankful.
Yeah,
for that.
That's funny. I love how the whole cell phone thing is kind of full circle now because he just released a song about the cell phone, about not having a cell phone.
And I fully thought it was just like a myth or like a PR thing, but he really doesn't have a cell phone.
I got to try that, honestly. Yeah. You recently released the deluxe version of your 2024 album, Kansas Anymore, which features 4 new tracks. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to release it as a deluxe versus potentially putting out a new album? I didn't have enough songs for another album. And 2, I just like, we didn't have plans for a deluxe. And then I put out the album. People liked it a lot more than I thought people were going to like it. Like it did better than I would have ever imagined. And so then I was like, oh, I would love to like expand this world. Like, this is the first time I've actually considered doing a deluxe now, because it's like people like that. Let me like extend the world and try and drag it out. And also I was thinking ahead at like, oh, we have a year of touring at least. And I know myself, I know I get bored of repetition and whatnot. And so I think also selfishly, I was just like, I would love to have something new in the middle of touring all year to perform. And so, yeah, I just wanted to like extend the world of Kansas Anymore and try and like elevate it without saying the same thing twice. And I think we did. Yeah.
I think we did.
Does that mean you're tinkering with new songs still, like as you're on tour?
Yeah, now I am. I took a little break, and then we've had like little gaps in between the legs of tour and these little short windows where I get to go hide in the studio for a little bit. But I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with songs like Deeply Still in Love, Look at That Woman, and Now the Longest Goodbye, I feel like your fans are always looking for clues into your personal life, like through your lyrics. So how much of that goes into your music versus kind of the stuff that you keep to yourself?
Well, the unfortunate thing is, like, I think I don't know how I'd write music without pulling it from my personal life. And it's like, I don't know. I wrote majority of these songs, like 90% of these songs on guitar, like in my living room, getting these ideas out. And, I don't think about how they're going to be perceived or like what lyrics people are going to like try and analyze. I don't think about that. I don't think anyone should, but, it's just seems like it's just kind of a byproduct of being a fan of something. Like, if I'm a fan of Lana Del Rey, I want to like go into all of her recent interviews and like figure out who this new husband is of hers, the Alligator Man. Like, I want to like go dig in and figure out how they met, who he is. So like, I get it. I'm also a fangirl in that way. Like, you know, you just want to know everything.
I love that you're a fangirl for Lana.
Yeah.
You recently booked an acting gig alongside Mark Ruffalo and Natalie Portman. Casual.
Yeah, very casual.
Can you talk about that? I mean, these are Oscar-nominated actors. This is a huge thing.
Yeah, it's shocking. When I announced it recently, it was funny. Nothing felt real. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it until I announced it, and seeing the comments of just like people being beyond shocked and also having to like fact check it. Like, every comment was like, I had to go check to make sure this was real like 5 times. And then that is when it started sinking, like, oh, this is insane. This is like the opportunity of a lifetime. And the trust that Lena is putting into me is intimidating, but I'm excited. I think it'll be really fun. And Lena is also making it just feel very like casual and like calm. The whole thing, it just sounds like it's going to be a pretty like fun experience. The way she works and like communicates is really nice. Is
this your first like big acting role? This is a good place to start.
Wild way to do it. But,
okay, what can you tell us about the role that you're going to play?
How much did they say? I think they said I'm a 20-something-year-old Brooklyn hipster, so that's all I know.
Okay. I feel like she writes those characters so well.
She does, yeah. She it's cool. Like I've built a pretty good relationship with her, and we like talk every day. She sends me pictures of her pigs,
Sweet.
like twice a week, and like has just been there for me whenever I have any questions, and is like really like holding my hand through this. And yeah, I think she's gonna make it pretty easy for me.
When do you guys start shooting?
I don't know if that's public information.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, no worries. All right. Well, I know you were also touring with Gracie Abrams, and it seemed like you guys had like a really genuine friendship throughout that tour. You posted something really sweet on your Instagram about her. She's been very sweet back to you as well. Did she give you any tips about the music industry as you were going through that tour and before you started on your own headlining tour?
She didn't give me any tips, but I definitely like took notes. Like I think I took notes specifically on like how she is, like this fandom that she has curated is like really special, and it feels like just a collaborative show, which I've always loved and like tried to implement with my own shows and stuff, and making everyone feel like seen and engaged. And I think she does that like flawlessly, especially now that she's playing these massive arena shows. It's like she's still, I think like holds on to that and makes everyone feel seen no matter how big the room is. And so I was taking notes on that for sure backstage.
Someone else that follows you on Instagram is Post Malone. Have you guys connected at all?
No, that was weird. That was like 5 years ago. And trust me, I have sent many messages, but I haven't heard back
yet.
But I love him. He seems like the nicest, most like pure. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I met him in Maine, funny enough.
How was that?
In 2015, we had like a random radio festival and he headlined it. And I was backstage, and I got to meet him. And I remember I like went to go shake his hand and he was like, I'm sorry, I can't touch anyone right now, because he got like fresh knuckle tattoos of like all of his favorite musicians' faces like on his fingers, and but he was very nice about it, and I would love to meet at some point.
Do you think you'll ever get the knuckle tattoos?
I don't think so. That's like the one thing my mom was like, don't do.
So
but she also
anywhere but the knuckles? Is that what my mom said?
I mean, she told me not to do any of them, but maybe I'll just show a little bit of respect and not do my fingers.
You've talked about growing up with social anxiety and how it used to make it feel impossible getting on stage. Now you're headlining tours, you're making movies. So how did you get to that place mentally?
Have I ever talked about social anxiety? I don't feel like I've ever had issues with that. I think I used to be much... I definitely used to get like very nervous on stage before going on stage. Like early on, I was like a nervous wreck, and like I would just get stomach aches to the point where like I couldn't eat for the whole day. But I don't know. I think just like years of opening up for people and doing these little shows, like you build confidence over the years. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever had social anxiety. I've been pretty good.
That's a good thing. Yeah. It's a misquote, I guess, from a very big publication.
I know. Now I want to know where that's from, because I don't think I've ever said that.
It's from a publication. We'll tell you later. Okay. So you just mentioned that you are off your headlining tour. You're about to do a festival circuit. How are you feeling going into this next chapter?
I feel good. I'm excited. I miss doing festivals. More than anything, like it feels like it's been, I think 2022 is the last time I did a festival, and I'm just happy to be back there and get to see all the artists and everything. I love like just the fact that everybody just gets to like hang out in the summer at these festivals backstage, and I'm excited. And then we continue the Deluxe tour in Europe in November, and there's more, but you know.
Anything you can tell us?
That's where it ends as far as this.
For now.
Yeah.
What artists are you checking for?
Artists am I checking for? At festivals or in general?
In general, yeah. Like if you're throwing someone on your Spotify playlist, like who are you throwing on the playlist?
Well, I don't listen, nothing I listen to I feel like is past like 1990. But as far as like
that's
small
okay. You can
artists,
say those too.
Yeah, but they don't need recognition. They're like all billionaires. I think smaller artists, let's see. I'll always champion Ryan Beatty. He is not such a small artist anymore, but I just like he's just a perfect artist to me. I'll just stop there. He's like, he has the voice that people kill for, but also like the most beautiful lyrics I've ever heard in my life. And I think when those two things meet, it's like very rare, and he does that flawlessly.
I cut all the bruises off the beach. Not as beautiful, but still as sweet. There you go again with all your needs. What did it ever have to do with me?
I'm a stan, and there's this girl Ruby Plume in Boston who's amazing.
At 100 miles an hour, and my hair's on fire.
Genevieve Stokes, who is a main artist. She opened up for the Boston show recently, and she's incredible.
You go and I stay. It's always right person and wrong way. I hate to be right. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. Those are my recs.
Nice. We love it. We're going to check them out. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you, Tucker.
Of course.
And
thank you.
Good luck on the rest of your everything.
Thank you so much.